Okay, so I thought this was a fun video to see. I saw this video with Emma Watson. Basically, she was sharing her opinion, views about J.K. Rowling, disagreeing about the whole transgender thing, I believe. Let's read this real quickly. I actually don't know too much about this. That's why I'm kind of watching this person to find out a little more. Let's see. Emma Watson broke her recent silence about J.K. Rowling on a podcast, saying she treasures Rowling and seems to walk back her previous hostility toward the Harry Potter creator over trans issues. Rowling has now issued a lengthy and scathing response that doesn't exactly signal reconciliation. Let's react. It's kind of funny. Let's watch this.
Hollywood actress Emma Watson, who's best known for playing Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, is now changing her tune on J.K. Rowling after publicly feuding with her over the trans movement for years upon years now. She's now
So here's the funny thing about the thing going on, because I think Emma was pretty women's rights, I thought. And when it came to like trans rights and all that stuff, and to be honest, I think trans people do have rights. It may not be privileges, I guess, like certain things like, going to the women's bathroom or whatever, and vice versa. But I think trans people do have rights. I think we all have equal rights for the most part. That's pretty much what I'm thinking of. But I don't know too much about this. But let's watch more.
somebody with a differing opinion, which is funny because she couldn't say that in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2023 or 2024, and we're now getting it in 2025.
Oh yeah,
Let's talk about it.
that's true. During those years, it was pretty tough. Like I don't think everyone was either called racist or a bigot for saying stuff.
Today's video, please like and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about Emma Watson. Now, Emma Watson recently appeared on the Jay Shetty podcast to sort of clear the air on her life, her career, and her take on J.K. Rowling, I guess. Before we get into that, let me go ahead and refresh your memory as to the public beef between Emma Watson and J.K. Rowling. Now, as we all know, J.K. Rowling is a very adamant voice against the trans movement these days. She says that men are men and women are women. And
Oh yeah, no, she goes pretty hard.
Their rights, their spaces from men who are going to try.
This is why I like J.K. Rowling though. She's like so honest about it, and that's what I really like about her. And I watched her movies recently, and I read the books, and yeah, no, J.K. Rowling. And if once you learn about J.K. Rowling's past, man, she was a hustler, dude, and I have so much respect for her.
To self-identify as women. Now, Emma Watson has not been a fan of this, and she's not been a fan of this for a really long time. In 2020, she said this: trans people are who they say they are and deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told they aren't who they say they are.
Oh,
She's
jeez.
also paraded herself around wearing t-shirts that say trans rights are human rights, and at the back
Something I've learned is that like you can be hot, but man, once we learn about someone's personality, this is guys or girls, man, it changes. You immediately turn into a turn off. That's what I've learned.
as in 2022, Emma Watson said this.
Oh God.
For all of the witches.
Okay, now if you didn't catch that last part, she says, I'm here for all of the witches.
Hollywood is terrible. It's so garbage.
I'm here for women and men who identify as women, and
I'm here for the groomers. They're,
one. And of course, that bar one was a strong dig at J.K. Rowling, saying, I support all women, trans women are women, except for that J.K. Rowling. So there you
Wow.
have it. Now I'm going to get into her comments on the Jay Shetty podcast, which her view has clearly shifted. So let's watch.
Could ever cancel her out or cancel that out for anything. It has to remain true. It is true. And this is where this like holding of these, I just don't know what else to do other than hold these two seemingly incompatible things together at the same time and just hope maybe they will one day resolve or like co-join themselves, and maybe accept that they never will, but that they can both still be true.
Yeah, see, I don't even think she's hot anymore. Like, I just think she's a dumbass.
I can know she loved me. I can be grateful to her. I can know the things that she said are true. And that can be this whole other thing. And my job feels like to just hold all of it. But the bigger thing is just what she's done will never be taken away from me.
Now, first things first, I don't want to come off like I'm attacking Emma Watson or saying that this statement is outright wrong. If she's truly come around on her view towards J.K. Rowling and she's found that she can recognize the love,
Yeah,
appreciation, and gratitude that she feels towards her,
I
then
agree.
that's absolutely wonderful. I
Yeah,
myself
I
was a
think that's
former
great.
leftist and decided that those views were not for me, and I'm glad that people welcomed me when
That's very true. I remember when I was a liberal, like even for me, like I was kind of like all opposed of all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, this, and then I was like, yeah, illegal immigration, until I learned more about illegal immigration, and then I started to switch kind of sides, or I guess more open to the middle kind of thing. And yeah, people were really nice to me. That's how I feel like now with the liberals, they're just fucking cuckoo. But no, if Emma really truly means this though, like kudos to her, I guess.
I came around. However, I hope that this is genuine and this is not just a movement towards the now more popularized idea towards J.K. Rowling. Because it seems that in the 5 years or more that J.K. Rowling has been speaking up about this sort of public opinion of her view has changed and shifted, and it's now become more acceptable to support J.K. Rowling.
Well, I think that's what's happening too. Like whether you think it's a popular, more popularized, it is. That's usually what happens with the world when the media kind of shifts. People start to bandwagon, and I'm not saying that's me because I've learned and done my research, and I decide this is what I agree with or disagree with. But a lot of people, I talked to my friend about this the other day, is that a lot of people don't do their research and they just follow blindly of whatever they want to, listen to, and so there will always be some kind of, in terms of what do you call that, in terms of you know bandwagoning almost for the most part. So whether you bandwagon to the left or right, there's always going to be like that. So I think that's something I'll never change.
In the public sphere. And coincidentally, that's when Emma Watson goes on the Jay Shetty podcast to give this now nuanced take on the matter. So I do hope that it's earnest. I do hope that it's
I hope so
genuine.
too.
And in
And if
this
not,
sort of
then who cares, right?
acknowledgement
I don't
of
really
being able
care.
to love
I don't even know
and
who she
feel
is.
appreciation towards J.K. Rowling, I would have wished that she would have acknowledged the times that she didn't show love towards J.K. Rowling, like that time at the BAFTAs that I showed you, where she literally said, "I support all witches bar one."
And I think that's Emma being totally, and honestly, I think Emma's totally been brainwashed by the media at the time with Hollywood and stuff like that. So maybe she is coming around, but I don't know, right? But I think a lot of it is Hollywood corrupting. And I've noticed that a lot of times with Hollywood. It's just that, like, they're weird people. Like, Hollywood is really, really weird. So, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Emma was totally just brainwashed by that stuff.
Meaning she outwardly stated that she could not support in any way, shape, or form J.K. Rowling, the woman who, let's be honest, is responsible for Emma Watson's career. Future,
Oh,
I'm going to
100%.
actually add an update because J.K. Rowling has responded to Emma Watson today, and you'll notice the background's a little different. The studio's moving around, so bear with me. But let's get into her response.
I like this video
She
so
says,
far.
"I'm not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them
I
threatened
love
with
J.K. Rowling
lawsuits
so
or
much.
violence or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continue to assume the role of de facto spokespeople for the world I created. When you've known people since they were 10 years old, it's hard to shake a certain protectiveness. Until quite recently, I hadn't managed to throw off the memory of children who needed to be gently coaxed through their dialogue in a big, scary film studio. For the past few years, I've repeatedly declined invitations from journalists to comment on Emma specifically, most notably on the witch trials of J.K. Rowling. Ironically, I told the producers that I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. The television presenter in the attached clip highlights Emma's all witches speech, and in truth, that was a turning point for me. But it had a postscript that hurt far more than the speech itself. Emma asked someone to pass on a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single
Ooh.
sentence, "I'm so sorry for what you're going through."
What?
She has my phone number. This was when the death, rape, and torture threats against me were at their peak, at a time when my personal security measures had to be tightened considerably, and I was constantly worried for my family's safety.
That's literally
Emma
saying.
just publicly poured petrol on the flames. Yet thought
That's literally saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way." Almost ridiculous.
One line expression of concern from her would reassure me of
But
her
by the way,
fundamental
screw you.
sympathy and kindness. Like other people who
I don't
never
really. That's
experienced
not
an
really
adult
much of
life
an apology.
uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of life She's ignorant of how ignorant she is.
Woo!
She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed on a
Damn.
mixed-sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she's been in a high-street changing room since childhood. Her public
Wow.
bathroom is single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside the door. Has she had to strip off in a newly mixed-sex changing room at a council-run swimming pool? Is she ever likely to need a state-run rape crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all-female service? To find herself sharing a prison
Wow.
cell with a male rapist who's identified into the women's prison? I wasn't
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Like Emma Watson will never have to deal with that struggle because, when she did Harry Potter, she was young and she just pretty much grew up rich for the most part, like making all those movies. And I'm sure she had her struggles, right, as a Hollywood star. But at the end of the day, she never had to. I guarantee you, she's never had to deal with all this stuff. And I hear this thing a lot. These people, what are they, out of touch? And when you're out of touch, like you don't really know what's going on in the world. And when you say stuff like, oh, like it's fine for these people to go to the bathroom, trans people go to the bathroom, it's like, but you never have to deal with that. And the middle age, I guess the average person in the world has to deal with your words because you thought in your mind, oh, this is good for me to say because, oh, well, I feel good saying it, so it must be good. But no, you don't know how much cause you're causing people from all this. So I think what J.K. Rowling is saying is that, like, well, you don't know what's like. You're very out of touch, long story short. You don't know what it's like. And I'm going to have her keep going. Sorry, I interrupted.
a millionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own experience what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges. The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she adopted because she's noticed full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. Adults can expect to cozy
Man,
up
I
to an
love J.K.
activist movement
Rowling.
that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love, as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me, and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right, and I finally decided to exercise it.
Hell yeah.
So there you go.
I love J.K.
Honestly, I
Rowling.
don't think I need to expand on the statement she's made. I'm pretty sure it speaks for itself. And
Yeah, so pretty much J.K. Rowling's past was she wrote Harry Potter on a fucking napkin starting off. Like she was like broke as fuck. And like she struggled and because of the Harry Potter books, man, she grew into like an awesome person, famous and rich and all that stuff. So, it's like if anyone knows about struggle, it's J.K. Rowling for sure. So, basically she's telling Emma Watson, by the way, yeah, you're out of touch, girl. You have no idea. And you're probably saying all this stuff because, oh, it's the cool thing to say now.
it is pretty damning. J.K. Rowling also said this in April of 2024. I guess she sort of prepared for the idea that celebrities would be apologizing to her on this topic and said that they should, quote, save their apologies. She goes on to say, after being asked, quote, what actors/actress instantly ruin a movie for you, she replies, 3 guesses. Sorry, but that was irresistible. And of course, she means Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, who
they all
threw
screwed
her
her
under the
over.
bus on the gender debate and said that she was not worthy of
They
being
did.
listened to and that they disagreed with her, which is so fascinating because there are so many ways in which J.K. Rowling contributed to the careers of these 3 young people, and they couldn't for a moment.
Imagine, it's kind of like this. Remember when James Gunn was canceled from all those tweets he's made on Twitter? Imagine the stars of the Guardians of the Galaxy were just like, yeah, fuck you, James Gunn. Yeah, he's a racist, he's a sexist or whatever. And they just throw him under the bus. That didn't happen. They obviously, basically supported him. But they basically, like, imagine that was the situation. This is the same situation where J.K. Rowling got, threatened and all that stuff. But these 3 stars just screw her over. It's the same idea here.
It's because they disagreed with her on this particular issue, allow a bit of support, a bit of nuance, and just an open discussion on the matter. So there you have it. Now, J.K. Rowling has also tweeted this out recently, and this may or may not be a reference to Emma Watson. It does sort of seem like it. She says, quote, a little reminder for anybody who may be regretting their public sprint to the front of the mob and is now trying to discreetly shove their pitchforks out of sight, which is kind of what she's doing. I mean, she's publicly going on the Jay Shetty.
When I was very liberal a long time ago, thankfully, I never said anything. I never said anything that I would regret. And I didn't say anything like, yeah, like, go illegal immigrants. Never said that. So, I'm glad I didn't. glad I did not.
Podcast to discuss this, but she's not discussing the little ways in which she dug at J.K. Rowling before this matter. And as I said before, you know, I'm all for it if she's had a shift in opinion, or at least a shift in view of J.K. Rowling here. But we're gonna have to unpack all the things that took place before. And eventually, I think things are gonna go even further than this. The likes of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
They're going to look back on their support of the trans movement, see all the issues that have arisen out of it, and really reframe the way they've treated J.K. Rowling in this very moment.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
are they going to publicly take accountability for the ways they've treated her, the way they ousted her, the way they pushed her aside, even though she's the main contributor of their careers? Probably not, let's be honest.
Yeah, they don't give two shits.
I don't know what's happening behind the scenes here. I can only infer based on the responses from J.K. and what Emma Watson has said on this podcast. But when you go and make a sort of public display of your love and appreciation, and it seems like that display has not happened on a person-to-person basis, a little bit of red flags flying for me there. I can't say for sure, but it doesn't seem like they've reconciled personally. So how does somebody go on a podcast and give this deeply personal espousal of love and then not have done that on a person?
It's just to get popular for it.
These are just questions that I have. Now, of course, the wicked part of this that always takes place is the left, in large part, is now abandoning Emma Watson for having spoken about J.K. Rowling in a positive light.
That's usually what happens.
And you, even for a moment, support somebody who goes against the dogma of the left. I'm going to get into some blue sky responses, and we can all imagine how that app is going to be responding to this.
Oh,
Blue
Lord.
Jay says, as with Emma Watson, Donald Trump would have never been president if he didn't have the power of people constantly talking about him and beefing about him to generate that media power he needed to become POTUS. Quit talking about bacteria. They're really not that fucking important. And we use the word quick instead of quick.
Blue Sky it's basically the lefty of Twitter, but it didn't work too well.
Very bad take from Emma Watson. She is showing that she is no ally. She used trans rights to boost her career. Now she's abandoning us when we need her. She needs to apologize or face consequences.
Oh, Lord.
You just can't win, dude. This is ridiculous.
See, this is what happens with the left. Like, you'll disagree one thing with the left, and you're just considered a Nazi. Like, but I'll be honest with you, it is also like that on the right. Like, I think one time I posted something saying, I can understand both sides. Said something simple as that. Man, the amount well, actually it wasn't that much, but there are a few people on the right who were like, fuck you, man, you don't. I'm like, oh geez, guys, I'm just trying to see from both sides. So yeah, I think to be fair, there are both more extremes, but I think the left side has way more louder people than the right side. Like, there's still some good amount on the right, but I think the left is like a ton more.
This one, it's a pity Emma Watson decided to equivocate about fascism. Oh well, at least we've still got Daniel Radcliffe. Yep.
We can't use it. I swear to God. If we hear the word fascism one more time, oh God, I think the word fascism now, it's been used so much. I think we're at a point now. If you call me a fascist, fine, I'm gonna be a fascist. That's it. And if, by the way, I did do a fun little Grok thing. I used Grok to see if I was a fascist based on my profile and my tweets and everything. I'm not a fascist, guys.
Daniel Radcliffe, the one who's like running around supporting transitioning children.
Oh, is that what Harry Potter's doing? That guy?
Marlon says, well,
screw that guy.
Right on off.
By the way, I don't mind transgenderism. If you want to transgender to a woman, two things. You better go fucking all out. Don't go half in. Don't just say you're a woman. Like, you better do all the stuff. Chop your dick off, whatever. Get some boobs. Go full ham. Go for it. But I don't agree that you should do it on children. Children should not be able to do it until, honestly, I say 30, because you don't know what the hell you want in your life until you're 30. That's my personal opinion. And even then at 30, you still don't even know. So I don't think you should get it when you're a very young age. Now, when you become an adult, sure, go make your decisions you want to. But if you do it, you better go all in, dude.
Bigotry and Christo-fascist anti-science viewpoints.
Look at these profiles of these people, I swear.
Or disagreements. It's just bigotry and willful ignorance, and extremely dangerous to the safety of minorities. Okay. Well, these four blue sky leftists have left Emma Watson behind. Not that they ever had her back to begin with, but
anime betrayals.
There really is no winning, and I will give that to Emma Watson. It's such a tough thing to be speaking on, period.
Shouldn't have done it.
She did sort of go out of her way to make these massive digs at J.K. Rowling. It wasn't like she was dragged into a conversation about the trans movement and about J.K. Rowling in particular. She chose to put on the t-shirt saying saying trans rights are human rights. She chose to go to the BAFTAs and say
Yep.
that she supports all witches bar one. She chose to tweet about trans people and, you know, their equalness when it comes to their identity when compared to that of women. And she then chose to go on the Jay Shetty podcast and make this statement about J.K. Rowling. Now, this is the nicest
Yep.
statement she's made so far, but it's still not a direct reference to every way in which she treated her poorly prior. And there we are. Now the left is, I guess, going to leave her behind because she's supporting a transphobe, even though she says she still disagrees with her.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Emma Watson, very interestingly in the Jay Shetty podcast, says that I hope people can still love me when they disagree with me. And she's probably going to learn from the left really quickly. But
Nope.
that's not possible. That's not within their framework of capabilities. Typically.
Unfortunately, it's
Guys,
not.
That's the update. We'll see what happens here. And, you know, more so, I think people should just handle this person to person, peer to peer.
Yeah, I don't know why you're telling the whole world about it.
Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments down below how you feel about this whole Emma Watson, J.K. Rowling situation. Do you accept the, not apology, but sort of I still love her message that we're getting from Emma Watson here? I'll take it if it's genuine. It doesn't seem like it's supported by anything that makes it genuine, but we'll wait and we will see. If you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day, typically. And I will see.
Yeah, definitely give her a follow. I really liked your content, so yeah, I'm gonna shoot that follow. I'll put the link below you for you guys to watch. And yeah, no, I think it was really great. I agree with a lot of things she was saying. And again, at the end of the day, if Emma truly means it, well, tough road for her, but I think she'll do it.